Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. The St. Lucia Labour Party is yet to announce the candidate for Castries Central. On Tuesday, a disgruntled group of residents expressed their frustration with the incumbent MP, but say they are also dissatisfied with some of the names that they have heard through the grapevine. To show their displeasure, some sprang up an effigy. Genevieve Gonzague filed this report from the community of La Panse.
Although a date has not been announced for elections, election fever in St. Lucia is at a peak height. To date, the St. Lucia Labour Party has yet to announce a candidate for the Castries Central seat. Residents of La Panse say they have had enough and it is time that a candidate be endorsed.
I want Pierre to know he have to make up his mind. You see the games he playing and he's not calling somebody for Central, he need to know what he's doing because he might lose the election if he don't call Stanley. He need to know that, and we're not playing that this wrong there. Or he might lose the election. We might just swing just because. He need to make up his mind and know what he's doing.
I am standing under an effigy of one of the candidates who has thrown his hat into the ring with hopes of being the selected candidate for Castries Central on a SLP ticket. Residents, however, say the choice is clear and he is not the representative that they want.
We see a better future with Stanley than any other person that come in there right now. Stanley for the poor people. That's what we see in there. And we don't want to see nobody else. He for the ghetto people. That's all. There are nothing more saying.
We are our board, we can come in for us. That's it, right? After all what they say about us, we deal with them. Black people, they have more black than white there. No way of doing it. That's what the Malawians have to eat in them 6 months there, where they have to give us our little, fix up our little house, put a little plywood and not do something. We get no plywood, nothing. So then you come and declare election in the next 2 weeks, for 2 weeks, so what we gain? After Corona, they come and mess up everything. Nah, man, them are getting too far now. What do you expect people to do? Call on them now, man.
Reporting from La Panse, where things are getting hot. For Hot 7 TV, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
Is the opposition St. Lucia Labour Party calling for an election that it is not ready for? SLP critics certainly think so, but the party says it has a strategy in place and is confident that this strategy will result in the party clinching a decisive victory at the polls. The opposition St. Lucia Labour Party has not officially endorsed the full roster of candidates for the next general election. This fact, the UWP and other critics of the opposition say is indicative of a party in disarray and unprepared for the very thing it demands, a general election. But the SLP's first deputy leader, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, says nothing could be further from the truth. He says there is no chance of the SLP being caught with its pants down if the Prime Minister does in fact ring the election bell.
Well, surely, I can tell you our pants are up and very well secured. There is no issue of our pants being down. We are not exposed in any way. If anybody is exposed, it's this government, and they'll be further exposed when they call the elections. We are ready for the elections, and whenever it is called, we will show how ready we are.
One crucial seat remains without an SLP candidate, Castries Central, despite keen interest shown by several individuals desirous of being the party's named candidate. A decision remains outstanding. A candidate for Castries North has not been named either. Dr. Hilaire says there is a reason behind all that the party does.
You made mention of not having all the candidates announced. That's entirely our decision on the timing of announcing our candidates, and we'll do so in a manner which suits our game plan. We do have a game plan of what we intend to do and how we intend to do it. And at the appropriate time, we will make our announcements. The important thing is for the Prime Minister to call the election. And when he calls it, all the cards will fall into place. So I think we're very, very ready, I can tell you. Our pants are not down, our pants are well secured, and we certainly not exposed. But we intend to expose this government whenever they call the election.
Speculation is rife that the Prime Minister will move to ring the election bell in the weeks ahead before Parliament automatically dissolves on the 12th of July. 2 men were rushed to hospital on Tuesday following a vehicular accident at Savans Bay View Fort. Eyewitnesses say the collision involved an SUV and a van. Here's Fire Service spokesperson Stacey Joseph.
Officers at the View Fort and the Makewood fire stations and the Crash Fire Hall responded to a call relating to a motor vehicular incident at Savans Bay in View Fort on Tuesday, 22nd June at approximately 10:25 a.m. The information received stated that there was a head-on collision between 2 vehicles. Emergency personnel found an individual trapped in each vehicle who were the drivers and sole occupants of the vehicles. Using extrication tools, the individuals were removed from the vehicles. The patients who sustained various injuries on their bodies were immobilized and transferred to the awaiting ambulances, where their wounds were treated, and they were provided rapid emergency transportation to the St. Jude Hospital for further medical care.
That was Fire Service spokesperson Stacey Joseph. A joint security briefing between the U.S. and St. Lucia was hosted on Friday to announce that areas of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force will now be eligible for security assistance from the United States. This follows the imposition of Leahy law sanctions on the police force due to alleged extrajudicial killings. The Police Welfare Association is reacting to the news. PRO Stanislaus Albert says while this is welcome, there is still a dark cloud hanging over the police force as the DPP's office continues investigations into the alleged extrajudicial killings.
After a decade of being barred from receiving training and funding from the United States due to alleged extrajudicial killings, some of the Leahy law restrictions were eased. The announcement came on Friday at a joint security meeting with U.S. officials and the St. Lucia government officials. The Police Welfare Association is reacting to the news. The Public Relations Officer of the PWA, Stanislaus Albert, says the officers who will be receiving the reprieve have welcomed it, but the force wants more to be done.
It's good news to an extent, but not quite where we would have wished that it would have gotten to. Because, like you would be aware, we have members who are affected, and despite the fact the restrictions that are lifted doesn't remove the burden from those members who are affected. They still are, and whatever pains that they were going through, they're still going through the same pain. So it is not what we would have wanted, but at the same time, it's still welcoming because it is news that 2 of our departments will be able to get much needed help.
Plans are afoot for the Marine Unit and the Immigration Department to be amalgamated into a border control agency. Albert says it appears that this is the reason behind the move by the U.S.
Looking at it, we're seeing that that's one of the reasons why the restrictions were removed from these 2 departments, in order that they can get assistance and get training so that border control can go ahead. Like I've said, what we really want to say is that not a partial upliftment of the Leahy law, but a complete upliftment would have been great. That is why we're saying to those responsible, because over the years we've been told it's this one and then that one, and now the last thing that we're hearing is that it's in the hands of the DPP. So what we're asking for is that whoever is responsible at this present moment to do what they have to do in order that our members can breathe a sign of relief.
Albert says once the DPP's office has concluded its investigation and all is said and done, officers who were wrongfully accused should be compensated.
These officers have been restricted in various areas. They are unable to apply for promotion. They are unable completely to move ahead in the police force. Now, not being able to go through the promotion process and whether or not they would have been gotten promotion, it is a situation where maybe they might have been able to make some extra revenue, and that they have been denied of that fact. So I'm seeing that if the matters go through the courts and then, or whatever the process is, and then they are nullified, then these guys should be compensated because they've waited a number of years and have been unable to partake in anything that goes through within the police force.
Operation Restore Confidence, which led to the allegations of extrajudicial killings, took place in 2010 and 2011. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
The Police Welfare Association is calling on the government to make haste with the construction of a police headquarters and halls of justice. The association laments that 1 year after demolition of the Royal Jail, the promise of a new home has yet to materialize.
On May 23, 2020, the Royal Jail was demolished following much controversy between government and the St. Lucia National Trust. To replace that building, the government has promised a state-of-the-art police headquarters and halls of justice, a home for at least 6 courtrooms. Following the first-year anniversary of the demolition, and given that it is an election year, the Police Welfare Association is calling on the relevant authorities to prove that the demolition of the building was not for nothing. The Public Relations Officer of the PWA, Stanislas Albert, says work needs to commence.
Elections is round the corner, so they're trying to do all that they can. So what we want to say to them is, start the Hall of Justice.
The police band was previously housed at the now demolished building. The band is now temporarily housed upstairs Caribbean Cinemas. On Friday, the band celebrated 74 years in existence. Albert says there is a great sense of displacement following the demolition and no signs of construction.
It's just not the police burning, it's a lot of departments within the police force are still, and we are still scattered all over the place. We are still scattered all over the place. There are a few of us in this building. There are a few others in other buildings all over the place.
The Royal Jail was the only known structure in St. Lucia dating to the 1820s and was the oldest known standing structure in the city of Castries. The St. Lucia National Trust had clamored for its preservation. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzaga.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. We'll be right back.